fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome into Philadelphia Eagles Now. First question before we jump into today's breaking news and rumor video regarding the Philadelphia Eagles. Who will be the Eagles' next head coach? Not who do you want to be the Eagles' next head coach. Who do you think the Eagles will hire to be their next coach? Let me know down below right now in the comments section. All right, so here we go on a Friday, getting the latest Eagles news and rumors. We start with the coaching search update. So as of filming this video, noon Eastern time on Friday, the Eagles have not hired anybody. Now, there's a real chance that maybe 6 p.m. tonight or maybe Saturday there could be an update on the Eagles head coaching. So depending on when you're watching this, they might have hired somebody, but as of right now, they are still interviewing, have interviews scheduled, and are looking to possibly interview some more people, maybe for a second time or for a first time overall. Right now, they've interviewed it's about 10 coaches overall. I should say they've interviewed over 5 coaches, and they've requested interviews for up to 10 head coaches right now. They're casting an extremely wide net, and the question now becomes how much will the Urban Meyer hiring, the possible Arthur Smith hiring in Atlanta, and of course the Robert Saleh signing in the Jets expedite the overall, I'd say, process in Philadelphia right now, because as other teams start locking in on their guys, there could be this rush to go ahead and lock in your guy. That way you don't lose out on the head coach that you possibly would want to go ahead and sign. So how much longer can they wait is a real question mark right now. And let's go ahead and move over to the teams that, of course, have hired head coaches as we continue this discussion. So first off, Saleh and Meyer are both done. Those are signed, sealed, delivered. The Eagles requested an interview and did interview Robert Saleh. I think I read it saying they liked Robert Saleh. If they were going to go with a defensive guy, he would have been the pick. They did not get a chance to interview Urban Meyer. I don't think Meyer was interested in the Eagles job. And, of course, the Arthur Smith Atlanta news is not official, but having ties in Atlanta, as you guys know, everything I'm hearing is that Arthur Smith will be the next head coach of the Atlanta Falcons. They are in contract talks, so that is not official. That could change. I was, reading up on the fact the Eagles were very, very high on Arthur Smith. They loved their interview with Arthur Smith. And I'll be honest, if Smith were to decommit essentially from Atlanta, I think Philadelphia swoops in. That's their top pick right now. But it looks like Smith is going to be off the market. He's probably going to go ahead and be an Atlanta Falcon. Let's move over to the people the Eagles have interviewed or have requested to interview. It's a long list right here. Kellen Moore, Brian DeBoll, the OC, of course, with Buffalo, Joe Brady, Gerard Mayo. That one's going to come up in the next couple of days. Todd Bowles, Robert Saleh, we said Arthur Smith, and Deuce Staley, who is doing his interview down in Florida today. Possibly as you're watching this video, he's meeting with Jeffrey Lurie to go ahead and do the interviews. The question then becomes, Thomas, who do you think is going to be the next head coach? I think they've already interviewed the next head coach. Now, we talked about Gerard Mayo possibly going ahead and getting an interview. Obviously, Deuce Staley being interviewed today. I think it's going to be Joe Brady. Everything I've read, everything I've heard is starting to kind of zero in on Joe Brady being the pick. Now, a lot of people are saying, Thomas, where's Eric Bieniemy on this list? Well, they can't really interview him until after he finishes the playoff run with the Chiefs, which could be into February based on how great the Chiefs are. And if you want somebody with an offensive mindset, you get essentially Eric Bieniemy light. Go ahead and sign Joe Brady. Now, the knock against Joe Brady, he's 31 years old. He's too young. He's too inexperienced. And I understand that. I think a lot of people would go ahead and knock Joe Brady for that, and rightfully so. You also can say, well, the only real success came when he had Joe Burrow in the best offense in college football, possibly in college football history at LSU. That's when they balled out, and it's simply because of the personnel that he had. That's true as well. But he was still, in my opinion, very good as the first-time OC with the Carolina Panthers this past season, and a lot of teams are highly interested in a guy who could be this next young, great offensive-minded head coach. I think there's a gamble with Joe Brady, as we mentioned, but I think there's also a tremendous upside, and for a team that is desperate to find somebody to figure out their quarterback situation, I think Joe Brady can do that for either Carson Wentz or for, of course, Jalen Hurts, as the decision is yet to come on what will happen with that. I think Brady's going to go ahead and be the front runner. Like I said, I think Arthur Smith was the lead candidate. I think Brian DeBoll has some interest there, along with in Philadelphia as well. But if I had to put all of my eggs into one coaching basket right now, I think it's going to go ahead and be Joe Brady. They liked what they saw in the interview with him. And again, he creates this high risk, high reward sort of thing where he's either going to be a massive bust and he's too young and too inexperienced, or he is the next top head coach in the NFL, and the Eagles will give him a shot earlier than some other teams, thereby giving them essentially the victory in terms of hiring the next young, I guess you could say, Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan, because that is what they think he is, and that's what a lot of people think he is overall. Make sure you guys are subscribed, though, because as soon as this breaks, we will cover it here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I don't know if we're going to get an answer this weekend. I think next week, though, for sure, the Eagles will have hired their new man. We'll, of course, cover it here, all for free, all nonstop on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Okay, I want to move over to some comments that came from Troy Aikman via the Michael Irvin podcast that to me kind of tie into the whole Doug Pederson firing, which of course we talked about at length the past couple of days. And of course rumors continue to swirl, and we talked about them here on this channel as to the real reason why Doug Pederson was fired. What I heard was that Doug Pederson wanted to promote the passing game quarterback coach Press Taylor to offensive coordinator, and Howie Roseman and Jeffrey Lurie were not a fan of that, and that is why Doug Pederson got fired. However, Troy Aikman has a different theory. He thinks that Doug was done with Carson Wentz. He did not think Carson Wentz could be the future at quarterback. Doug wanted to go with Jalen Hurts. Jeffrey Lurie, Howie Roseman wanted to go, of course, with Carson Wentz, and that was the overall conflict and therefore divide in Philadelphia. And if you believe Troy Aikman, this would honestly make a lot of sense. There have been rumors that Carson Wentz, of course, unhappy with Doug Pederson, the relationship being shattered, and if that is the case, then maybe that is a better insight and a better look as to why Doug Pederson was axed kind of suddenly after his Tuesday meeting this past Tuesday with Jeffrey Lurie down in Florida. Here was Troy Aikman on the Michael Irvin podcast saying, quote, a difference of opinion is how they were going to move forward with the quarterback. A difference of opinion in how they were going to move forward with the quarterback position. Jeffrey Lurie has paid a lot of money to Carson Wentz, and they're on the hook with that and can't get out of the contract right away. It's my belief that Doug Pederson felt that Jalen Hurts probably should be the quarterback going forward. Listen, we could sit here and debate whether it was Carson Wentz's fault or whether Carson Wentz needs to be the quarterback going forward or Jalen Hurts needs to be the quarterback going forward. That all doesn't matter to me. Doug Pederson is gone. It's done. I've been against it. I will continue to be against it, but we must now move forward and look for the next head coach. And what we need to know with the next head coach is, what are his thoughts on the quarterback position? He must figure out what to do at quarterback in Philadelphia. That is the biggest question mark right now in Philadelphia and will be for the foreseeable future. Listen, there are a couple of options here. You just straight up go Hurts, and then you trade Carson Wentz. You go Carson Wentz and you keep Jalen Hurts, or you nuke both of the quarterbacks and go ahead and bring in another one in the draft. Not a fan of that, but it's still an option. So overall, I don't care what happened in the past. I think it matters, and I think we got to figure out what the Eagles really think of Carson Wentz and Jalen Hurts. But my big focus right now is who will be the next head coach and what are his thoughts on the quarterback position. Whenever they do hire somebody, I fully expect them to be asked a question in the press conference, and the head coach, whether it's Joe Brady or somebody else, kind of dodge it and say, we like both quarterbacks, we'll evaluate and see what happens. But I want to know for sure that in that interview process, in that interview meeting, whether it's Deuce Staley or Joe Brady or Brian DeBoer or whoever it is, they have a plan for the quarterback spot now and aren't just going to figure it out or fly by the wire as they go, because this is way too important to, I think, mess up. Because, you can really turn the Eagles around in an offseason and make them chops in the NFC East with the right moves, but you can also tank this franchise even further down into obscurity if you keep messing up the quarterback spot as the Eagles did this past year, and of course drafting Jalen Hurts and then not developing Carson Wentz into the quarterback we thought he would go ahead and be. Let me ask you guys this pinned comment down below in the comment section. How much of a concern do you have with the current status of the Eagles quarterback position? Now, we like them both. I think they're fans of Wentz and fans of Jalen Hurts, but together, the drama to me is getting a little bit out of hand. On a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned are you with the quarterback spot? Let me know with the pinned comment down below in the comment section. I'm at like a 7 or an 8. Whoever, again, the next head coach, they better figure this out, because this is a pivotal offseason with a pivotal position group in the National Football League at quarterback. Quickly, I want to go out to our friends at BetUS, give you my picks of the weekend for the divisional round. Get your bets in now. I got my bets in with our friends at BetUS. Go to chatsports.com/EaglesBet. Use that promo code EAGLES125 for 125% deposit bonus when you deposit your first $100. My 3 locks right now are the Bills -2.5 versus the Ravens. Buffalo seems to be the team of destiny to go up against the Kansas City Chiefs. I like what they did not only this past week in their wild card win, but I like their chances against a Baltimore team that to me is a Lamar Jackson poor game away from being bounced big time in the postseason. The Browns will lose on Sunday to Kansas City. We all expect that, but it will be close. I think Cleveland gets a little bit healthier from the COVID list. Kevin Stefanski comes back. Browns to cover +10 versus the Chiefs. And the Bucs, again, I keep saying 0-2 against the Saints this year, but they're peaking at the right time. The Saints, to me, the offense, will it be able to continue to be as good as it has been? Is Drew Brees kind of still going downward in the overall age category? Give me the battle of the 40-plus-year-old quarterbacks. I'll take Brady in the postseason every day of the week. Remember, the Saints have had a lot of heartbreaking divisional round and really just overall playoff losses the past couple of years. I see another one happening on Sunday. Final little bit of news here, which is going to get overlooked nationally, but is important for Eagle fans to know. The Eagles are looking like they're going to go ahead and lose Jeff Stoutland, their current offensive line coach and run game coordinator, to Alabama as he looks to return to his former, coaching spot there in Tuscaloosa. And people say, Thomas, I don't know who Jeff Stoutland is. Why is this a big deal? This is a guy who was an original member of the Chip Kelly staff, has been on since the Chip Kelly era, and has really turned into one of the best offensive line coaches in the National Football League. I cannot stress enough how big of a loss this is for Philadelphia. Philadelphia, who we already know is going to lose coaches once they fire or once they figure out who the next head coach is. But Stoutland was a guy I think a lot of people wanted the Eagles to keep, and if he's going to go to Alabama, that's another big loss for the Eagles offensively. Here was Bleeding Green Nation's write-up on this. They did a great job explaining, quote, Stoutland always found a way to get the most out of less established players, such as when the Eagles were able to rely on Halapoulivaati Vaitai during the Super Bowl victory, or Jordan Mailata going from never even playing football, becoming a viable starting left tackle last season. It goes without saying that the Eagles' next offensive line coach will have a huge shoes to fill. Stoutland will certainly be missed. Just how missed? Well, look at the Pro Football Focus rankings after each season, each of the last 4 years for the O-line. This past year, with all the injuries, they were still 19th. Last year, first in the league in overall rankings, 5th in 2018, and then first again the Super Bowl year in 2017. Yes, they've had a lot of great players, but they've had a lot of injuries. You go back to the Super Bowl year again, Vaitai starting for Peters, who went down midway through the year in the Redskin game. Obviously, last season they had plenty of offensive line issues as well. Brandon Brooks going down. And then this year, the mega explosion nuclear offensive line issues that have been really the main reason why Philadelphia struggled a lot on offense. Now, the good news is for whoever fills the hole as the O-line coach, he should have a healthy offensive line. Whether it's Mailata or Dillard at left tackle, doesn't matter. Sam Malu, hopefully Kelsey comes back for one more year. But the real keys here are the right side of the offensive line, Brooks and Lane Johnson, both being 100% healthy. If that's your offensive line for 17 games, 16 games next season, this can be an offense, a top 10, top 5 offensive line, regardless of who is coaching them. But still, the ability for Stoutland to take, again, like a Jordan Mailata, and turn him into a really good starting left tackle after he had literally never played until being drafted by Philadelphia. I mean, this is a guy who was drafted strictly on his potential alone and not on any past achievements being a rugby player, is one of the greater, more impressive achievements of Stoutland's career, and I think we need to give him respect and wish him well going into Alabama, but it looks like they're going to lose him, and that is a tough blow overall. There you go. Ultimately out for today here on Philadelphia Eagles Now. Again, just keeping an eye on the coaching search. People are keep tweeting me updates. The update is there is no update. They're going to have you, like I said, Staley and probably Gerard Mayo this week, or today, this weekend, I should say. But I would keep an eye on Joe Brady, keep an eye on Brian DeBull. Those to me be the two top favorites right now in Philadelphia that I think could be coming as soon as early next week. We'll, of course, have it covered here on the channel. Ultimately out for today here again on Philadelphia Eagles Now. I'm your host, Thomas Mott, signing off. Have a great and safe weekend. Enjoy the rest of your Friday afternoon.